My husband makes over the amount to receive food stamps, but we're in a situation of homelessness, so he can't pay for the room and expenses and all of that and food.
So they got to either pay rent and die in the house they paid rent for, or eat outside. Those are the options. Hey y'all, it's your girl J9 Eve. Hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, get into the comments, let me know what you think about this. So, continuation from yesterday's video, I was kind of digging in and trying to get a little bit more insight on how this is looking, which will make it easier for me to predict, which I like to do, how all this will land. I have a pretty good idea. If you do not know, like, they're going to be stopping the SNAP benefits, also known as, if you're old enough to know, you know, is food stamps, is what we call them. They're going to be stopping those. Definitely will not be any in November. And I say that with confidence because the stipulation is unless they open the government back up, which is not going to happen. It's just not. That's not going to happen. So my prediction is it's going to be into next year. I say March. I don't know why I'm saying March, but I say March. That thing ain't going to be back open until March is my prediction. Okay. But they are going to be shutting it down. And of all the months to have this it's like you didn't have enough to go for one more month. They instantly said that they're going to be out before the month. They won't be able to cover the holiday. Okay. So it's going to be weird, but let's watch some stuff and we'll see what we learn together. We learn together.
A funding gap is pausing November SNAP payments, and even those who don't qualify are feeling the squeeze. KPRC2's Rowan Belogan shows the struggle households are facing with or without federal aid.
Thousands of people in our area fall in that middle ground where they make too much to get government assistance, but not enough to address rising costs.
I have meat. I have fresh vegetables, fresh fruits. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Monica Simpson helps unload her bag of groceries.
They give you everything. They give you the variety pack.
Simpson is one of roughly 1,000 people a week the West Houston Assistance Ministries helps with its food pantry. Simpson isn't on SNAP. In fact, she doesn't qualify. But like over 1 million others in Harris, Fort Bend, Montgomery, and Waller counties, she's in that difficult middle ground, earning too much to get government help, but not enough to keep up with rising costs.
And there lies the problem. So everybody's talking about these people not being able to get, people being on SNAP, being on food stamps and milking the system and all of this stuff. There is this portion of the population who they work or they bring in enough money to where it's too much for them to even qualify for food stamps. They make too much to qualify for food stamps, but not enough to eat. So if the slightest little thing that happens and their world turns upside down, and so they go to places like, say, food kitchens, food banks, these types of places to help with these things. Now, with that in mind, consider what happens now with the food stamps thing being gone. Where do you think these people are going to go looking for food? The food pantries, the food kitchens, which already have people who have to come there because that never even qualified for food stamps because they technically made too much for that. It's a broken system. The system is broken. That thing I just described is proof. The system is broken. So what do? We crack it in half, toss it to pieces in different oceans. That's the American way, okay? But let's proceed. The
United Way calls this group ALICE. Asset limited, income constrained, employed.
Any emergency that may arise can really derail that household or that individual to making even more difficult decisions.
My husband makes over the amount to receive food stamps, but we're in a situation of homelessness, so he can't pay for the room and expenses and all of that and food.
Wow. That's crazy work. That's crazy. So her husband makes enough to makes too much to where they can't afford the food stamps thing. And so then it turns into, well, he just makes enough for them to either eat or pay rent. So they got to either pay rent and die in the house they paid rent for, or eat outside. Those are the options. While we're about to just shoot out $40 billion to another country to bail them out. That's all I'm saying, okay?
Way finds that 14% of the people it serves are in poverty. Another 28% are Alice homes like Simpson.
It's horrible because they don't see all the other expenses involved. Like, we're spending over half of our income, over half, 3/4 of our income to house ourselves.
Right now, there's no clear timeline on when or if November SNAP benefits will be released. The USDA.
Oh, no, they definitely are not going to be released. I can tell you that right now. But that is like 3/4 of your income goes to your rent. Then, of course, if you have rent, then you have to have electric. You got to have water. And then what are you going to do in there? You can't eat because you ain't got no food. You ain't got no, there is no money. And you can't qualify. You make too much. Like, the audacity of saying, oh, that's too much for you to need help, while inflation makes 0 sense, is so far up beyond and past the amount of money that people are able to make. The minimum wage, you got to fight tooth and nail to get them to raise minimum wage, when there's no fucking way that minimum wage is you're gonna be able to pay rent on minimum wage. You know how many hours you would have to work to be able to pay just rent alone on minimum wage? We're talking about 80 hours a week, bitch. 80 hours a week. It's supposed to be 40. 40 is full time. You gonna need 80 is what you gonna need. And then it might still honestly, it might still be some problems there. It's terrible. I'm just saying. I ain't trying to make anybody panic here, but I'm just saying, like I said, if you got food stamps left on your card, you're going to want to leave them on there, or you're going to have spaghetti for Thanksgiving. I'm just letting you know. But let's proceed.
Says it's waiting on additional funding to come through. But until then, families across our area are sitting in limbo. I'm Ramon Belogan, KPRC 2 News.
Meantime, the federal government shutdown is affecting everyone, not just federal workers. SNAP benefits could soon be impacted, and we think this is such an important issue. So we sent out Keith Garvin to the Houston Food Bank with much more. Keith?
Hey, Daniela, we're in one of the sorting areas here at the Houston Food Bank where volunteers work to push out thousands and thousands of boxes all the time to get out to the people who need it. In the Houston Food Bank, they work with many partners to get families the assistance that they need throughout the area to help fill in those gaps. With a potential federal pause on SNAP benefits that so many people rely on, the people most at risk are those who fall in that middle ground where they make too much money to get government assistance, but they don't make enough to address other rising financial costs that so many people are dealing with. As a matter of fact, the food bank and other organizations like West Houston Assistance Ministries, they are trying to address as many needs as possible. We were at the ministry earlier today where they are addressing a growing demand. Here at the food bank, I spoke just a few moments ago to Nicole Lander. She's the Chief Impact Officer here. She talked about the tough decisions that they may have to make come November.
Our partners absolutely tell us that their lines are a little bit longer, specifically for new seekers. These are people for their first time that are relying on the charitable food system.
There you go.
So our work is to support those partners with food and use the resources that we have and appeal to the broader community that may not need to use a pantry and ask them to give their time, money, or lend their voice. Houston is so generous. And so we always say there are 3 ways you can support our organization. One, you can volunteer your time. We have to pack extra boxes. We have to move more food. We ask donors to give food or funds to us. $1 equals 3 meals. You can also advocate and talk to your elected officials about the implications of the shutdown.
So if you were asking yourself why this is such a big story, it's because in Harris County alone, more than 642,000 people are eligible to receive those SNAP benefits. That's according to August numbers from Texas Health and Human Services. And just shy of 331,000 of them, that would be 51%, are under the age of 18. So if those
So half of the 642 people, this is 642,000 people this is just in Texas, in Harris County specifically, okay? Which I know Houston counts as. At least half of those are kids, which does make actual sense because most of the time when people get food stamps, there are people who have kids. So it's actually the kid who's getting the food stamps. So so that does make sense that would be the case. And then I would say the other ones, if that's not the kids, then it would be, it could be like students are going to be, because some of the students are over 18, but they're still, students. They're like in college and stuff. They are on it. It seems like it's mostly going to affect, it's just really going to affect mostly young people.
51% are under the age of 18. So if those SNAP benefits do not come through, a lot of Harris County children could go hungry. If you or someone you know is in need of a food pantry and you're looking for the closest one to you, we have a list for you, local food pantries at click2houston.com. We know how important those resources are.
I don't want to just throw this out there, but I will say this. I have heard there are some people who may possibly be, who have kind of said things that make you think that they might be on, they have kids. They would have kids continuously because of how much more money they would get from the government from more kids. So once you take away all those reasons that a person would want to have more kids, to get more money, then that seems like that would be people who don't want their kids. So what's going to happen with the kids? Like, are they just going to give the kids away or worse? So just throwing it out there. I mean, we might want to be looking out for that type of stuff. So, keep a watch on your friends or family whom fall into that category that I was talking about, just to make sure that the kids are okay wherever they are. Okay, just throwing it out there.
Especially at a time like this. If SNAP benefits are paused in November, we also want you to know that more than 425,000 people across the 18 counties that the food bank alone serves could be impacted. Coming up at 6 o'clock, you're going to hear more from the folks here at the food bank about measures that they are taking right now to make sure families don't go without. For now.
Okay. All right. Yeah. There's always these good people out here doing the actual Lord's work, while these others are siphoning everything in the name of the Lord. Be careful when people tell you they're Christians. It's weird. The more a person tell you they're Christian, the more you should be concerned. Not because they're Christian, but because they keep saying it, which is kind of an implication. It pretty much means that they so aren't Christian that they need to say it out loud, because it's the only way that you would possibly believe they were is if they tell you, because they don't do anything that sounds Christ-like. Just saying. I'm just saying. And that's, what I'm saying. They're trying to, whatever. Let's move along. It's a thin line in this. Mama gets super annoyed with the ills and the icks of humanity. Okay. Like when humans start behaving like straight monsters and they claim themselves to be so right. It's something, fire, like that's a fire. Basically, it's the only way to describe how it feels. Fire.
Because of these expiring Affordable Care Act subsidies, Republicans steadfast in their belief, reopen the government, talk health care later. And now we have some impacts. Again, the reason we cover this every single day, Holly, is a few things. One, is there a deal or not? And two, well, what's the impact today? And the big development on this Thursday morning is the USDA.
Well, that sounds crazy. They said the Republicans are steadfast in their reopen the government and we'll talk health care later. You mean trying to undo what they do with health care? Because they open up the government and what they're going to do is basically devour the healthcare system. That's why they're holding out. That's why the Democrats are holding out. That's why they're not okaying this shit. So they say, oh, let's just reopen the government. We'll savagely slaughter the healthcare system, so no one will have any healthcare, so everyone dies. And then, you know what? Then we'll just we'll figure that out later, because compromise is something they're so willing to do. Yeah, the one thing that I'm gonna tell you, the one thing that the Republicans of today are willing to do is be reasonable. I mean, if they're good for anything, it's reasonableness. You know what I'm saying? When you give them their way, oh, they're not spiteful at fucking all, and they won't hold you hostage. Never. Absolutely fucking not, sir. You just slide that in there like that so casually. But go ahead. Go off.
Has indicated to states that if this shutdown stretches into November, if this shutdown goes past that 1 month mark, and it certainly looks like it may,
yeah,
food assistance programs like SNAP may be the next victim of a prolonged shutdown. In fact, I think we have some video that the state of government, the website in the state of Minnesota this morning, they've indicated that they've received notice that a shutdown going into November will impact food assistance programs.
Yeah.
And their website goes on to say that as of last night at 10 p.m., they're no longer accepting new applications. This is the part I was talking about. No longer accepting new applications for food SNAP benefits. So we're already talking about the impact on SNAP in Minnesota. I was just speaking with our Scripps News group in Denver. They're seeing local impacts there of
I'm going to tell you, this is so crazy. I'm going to just say this last little thing. The idea of trying to inflict pain on another person, there's this old rule. It says, if you aim to, when digging a grave for your enemy, dig two. Because in the pursuit of trying to end someone else, you will indeed end yourself. This is the people who just all, like, they went into this with the heart of trying to, like, the idea of hurting these other people, the others. If it worked out the way that they wanted it to, and only the others were affected, the farmers would be happy as shit. These freaking weirdos out here who now are not going to have their food stamps no more, because while they over here talking about how other people want stuff, these people want a handout, these people want a handout, they all had their hands out. Food stamps is mostly Caucasians. That's not it. But the rumor, you guys, let the rumor get too big that it's these minorities. They're the ones benefiting from this thing. So we need to just get rid of this thing, because for some reason they couldn't connect it. That they're on that thing. You're on that. Just like the affordable healthcare and the Obamacare thing. They were like, I hate Obamacare. Fuck that Obamacare. We don't need that Obamacare. But all I need is my Affordable Care Act. Too dumb to realize it's the same fucking thing. They labeled it that on purpose so that they could use it against you, so that you could vote against your own interests. If they call it Obamacare, you won't want it. You'll reject it, and then you'll lose your health care because they gave it the fucking name, and you refuse to listen to anyone who doesn't look like you. So you weren't open to understand it. And now they're looking to actually fully, completely just go ahead and devour that shit. And to anybody out there who uses the Affordable Care Act, I want you to know, if you are on board with this whole, it's the Democrats that have shut down the government. This is a Democrat shutdown. Please know that if they give in, when the Democrats give in, the Republicans are gonna steal your health care. So be careful what you wish for. It's like we back in that box again. We having another one of those moments. I'm trying to help you out here. Okay, this is what's happening. They're trying to siphon that. They want that. That's that last little piece they get from you. Because the quicker people die, the less people they have to be worried about. Okay, I just want you to know that this is the goal here. I'm just saying, it's just Mama's theory. This is all just Mama's theory. Mama's got a morbid theory, I guess, but whatever. Y'all behave, because I'm not going to do it. Absolutely not. Mama going to keep an eye on this, because I don't want to say it's getting interesting, or it's going to get interesting, but it's weird, and we need to be careful and looking out for each other, because that's the only way to fix it. That's it. That's the only way to fix it. Okay? Put your hate under your bed. You can pull it out another day. When everything's going fine, you can be hateful. Whatever. Later, Gators. Peace.